4. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our God, is one Lord. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh only.
AR.
Pretty awesome.
Shalom, Barakatah. This is Super Priest Kalhalal of the Law, also known as Kalhalal Israel, back with another video lesson, giving all praises, honor, power, glory, dominion, majesty, reverence, blessings, worship, love, and admiration to the Most High, Yahweh, and Yahweh only. Double honors, triple honors to Yahweh and Yahweh only. No Bahashem. Understand that? All right. Now, the title of today's video lesson is The High Priest Burns the New Testament, Volume 5. Yeah, man. This is Volume 5. And we're going to keep on burning the New Testament until it completely die. Because it is the book of the dead, but it's only alive in the minds of our people. So we destroying it out of the minds of our people. And we still on fire for the Most High God. How you love that? Yeah, on super fire. Yeah, it's the super high priest. High priest Kalhalal. Yeah. How y'all doing out there, YOZ? Y'all know it's YOZ to the saints are free. Stay stumped down for the Most High God and His law. Ababa ball. Fall, Babylon, fall. Yeah, and Babylon is about to fall real soon. You better return or burn. Return to the Most High God, Yahweh alone, or burn. Return or burn. Repent or lament. Yeah, man. And that's what time it is. The Most High God is showing signs that the daughter of Babylon, America, is about to fall real soon. So we really are on our job trying to pull our people out of this falsehood of the Flu Testament. Trying to pull our people out of idolatry because we know the jealous God. We are the true servants of the living God. And we know Him. We're His true witnesses. We know Him. Yeah. We know Him over here at YOZ. Right? Salute the Chief Priest Alawan. Right? All of the saints doing the work. All of the zealous staying zealous for the Most High God and His laws. Salute. Yeah, that's right. And we love our people, man. We do this for our people because we love our people, man. Right? Even though we see that they don't love us back too much, but we love our people, man. Right? So we out here doing the work. First and foremost, we love Yahweh. And we the servants of the Most High God, Yahweh. And He sent us. Yeah, He sent us. That's why We got all the knowledge over here at YOZ, man. And that's why you ain't putting out no knowledge and you claim to be a Torah teacher, man. You just don't claim to be just a zealot, just a saint, abiding by it, living by it. You know what I'm saying? You claim to be a Torah teacher and you ain't got no real true revelation. The Most High God ain't revealing nothing to you. You like a sort of sodomite, man. You know what I'm saying? Just a poser, right? Hey, look. Get over here and stay in class at YOZ, man. Because right here with the super priest Kalhalal, is who Yahweh is dealing with. I'm who your God is dealing with. And he ain't dealing with everybody. Because everybody ain't got this truth. Everybody ain't got this knowledge. Yeah. We got some new playlists up. We updated the playlists and all. A new playlist is The Destruction of Islam. Go and check that out. Binge watch the channel. Stay informed, get edified. All praises be to the Most High God, Yahweh. It is not of us. It is of his power. Yeah. Yeah, and it feels good to be the super priest, man. Because I'm supercharged. I'm enlarged. And I'm in charge. Yeah, man. This ain't for everybody. That's why he hide us, man. He said that your teachers would be pushed in the corner. You got to really seek the Most High God, you feel me? Because the rewards are tremendous, magnificent. I mean, on tycoon status, you know what I'm saying? Exfinitaires. No, not trillionaires. Exfinitaires. Yeah, man. Rich for eternity, infinity. Right? So, yeah. The rewards are tremendous. You got to really work for this. This is a work-based salvation, man. You know what I'm saying? And the Edomites, they don't never want you to have anything good, man. Right? So on top of us being hidden, we being shadow banned. Right? But it's all part of the Most High God's plan. He wants you to work for it. And if you are tuned in and you know about the super priest and YOZ, whoa, Yahweh loves you, right? Keeping you motivated, keeping you inspired, keeping you reassured that you are on the right path, keeping you informed with the right information, right? Keeping you sharp with this esoteric knowledge. Yeah, that's right. The New Testament is fake, right? Now, women, all women, they were cursed with pain in childbearing because of the sin of Eve. Now, if JC, Cheez-Its Christ, really died for the sins of the world, then why are women still having pain in birthing children? That's because he's a fictional character created by your enemies to deceive the whole world. All right? Yeah, that's right. From Matthew to Mark to Luke to John to Acts, all the epistle letters to Revelation is false. It's of the Edomite Greek Romans, the so-called white man, to deceive you, to finesse you out of your salvation, and to destroy your soul, to place you into idolatry with replacement theology. And this is The high priest burns the New Testament, volume 5. And we're going to stay dangerous like a beehive. Sweet. Yeah. That's what we need, you know? This is what we're supposed to be doing. This is who I am. This is what makes me. This is my calling. Yeah. Now, we here in the book of Revelation, chapter 20, and we're going to start at verse 1. So these Christian lights, these deceivers, they don't say, "Oh, you didn't get the full context, Uck." All right. So we here at verse 1. All right. It don't get no fuller than this. All right. Because we're honest, man. We are truly honest. All of these cuts and burns on the New Testament, it's just sincerely like honest cuts, right? So we see the New Testament for what it is. It also promises salvation, the same salvation that the Israelites get to the Gentiles. Yes, Gentiles meaning Edomites, regardless of how it may deceive you or regardless of how your teachers twisted it to deceive you. It is promising the same salvation to the Gentiles that the Israelites get, right? But that's not what we're going to prove here in Revelation 20, verse 1, right? Just saying that because, let you know, it's written by the Edomites, and these Christianites are deceivers, right? And we're honest. We're honest. We can say that. It does teach salvation to the Gentiles, the authentic Gentiles. Edomites, Ishmaelites, Moabites, Ammonites, Hamites. Yeah, all of them. Right? And, you think it don't. You think it don't, but you are twisted. Right? I'm going to show you, and I'm going to keep on showing you. Yeah. Sometimes I put so many cuts on this New Testament, I might forget a little bit that I already cut that area. You know what I'm saying? And I might bring it up and cut it again, cut it some more. And I know I covered this on this channel, but I'm going to bring it back to cut it some more in detail. You know what I'm saying? Let's carve this pumpkin, man, for these punks. Yeah, man. Revelation 20, verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. So we see here that Satan, the devil, the serpent, right? He is locked in prison. They locked him up right here. It's in verse 2. And he laid hold. They got him. They captured him. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan and bound him 1,000 years. Right? And cast him into the bottomless pit. So it's official. They did it. They locked him away. It says it right here. He's locked away. And cast him into the bottomless pit. There you go. And shut him up. And set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more. Right? So, when was the nations not deceived? Because the devil is in prison. So it should be truth out here reigning somewhere, right? Right? So he was shut up in prison so he will not deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. Okay, so he's going to be locked up for 1,000 years so he cannot deceive the nations no more. Can't deceive them into false doctrine. And it always been false doctrine out here, right? The Hindu religion haven't stopped. You know, it's been around for a very long time, right? Islam, it was created and everything, and it hasn't stopped. So let's read on. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of JC, and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. So Christ is reigning while this beast is locked up in prison. While the devil is locked up in prison, Christ is reigning 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that has part in the first resurrection. On such the second death has no power. But they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Okay. So, when the 1,000 years are expired, the 1,000 years of Christ's reign, when it's expired, that's when the devil will be released out of his prison to go and deceive the nations. And shall go out to deceive the nations, which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. Right, so when do we see 1,000-year reign of Christ on the earth? Because we see the devil on the earth deceiving the nations, all of these false doctrines. So he had to be released, and he could only be released after the 1,000-year reign of Christ. So we see all of this wickedness on the earth. We see all of the nations are caught up in false doctrines and spreading false doctrines. So we see that the devil has been released. But we don't see the 1,000-year reign of Christ. When was that ever recorded in history? And if you say this hasn't happened yet, then explain to me who is causing all of this deceit and evil on the earth? All of this wickedness. If the devil is locked away in prison, right? Because he definitely is locked away. We read that in verse 2 and 3. He's definitely locked away. So if this hasn't happened yet, and the devil is still locked in prison, then who is deceiving the nations? We see that they are deceived. Don't you have eyes and a mind? And can't you comprehend what's going on in the world? And even the Christian lights are preaching the gospel, trying to pull their people out of Christianity into their Hebrewanity, right? So obviously the nations are deceived and they're in false doctrines of Christianity, false doctrines of Islam, false doctrine of Hinduism, false doctrines of Satanism, atheism, all of this stuff, man. Judaism with the Babylonian Talmud, right? So obviously the nations are deceived. But that would not happen if the devil was not released out of his prison. We see that that's the devil's job to do here in the book of Revelation. He is to deceive the nations. But all of this deceit on the earth could not be if the devil was not released out of his prison. And the devil cannot be released out of his prison till the 1,000-year reign of Christ is expired. That's what we read right here. Revelation 20, verse 6. Blessed and holy is he that has part in the first resurrection. On such the second death has no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. So he was bound. And now we know that because Revelation told us that in chapter 20, verse 2 and 3. So he was definitely put in prison. That happened. Right? According to Revelation, that happened. So we see that. And we see the deceit on the earth. So he obviously had to be released. Because we see the nations being deceived on the earth. But what we do not see, what we haven't seen, is this 1,000-year reign of Christ. When was Christ reigning, ruling 1,000 years on the earth? Has anybody documented that? How can anybody miss that? It's is 1,000 years with Christ. Just a man living 1,000 years is phenomenal. A miracle. It's super amazing. No one documented that? That large period, that 1,000 years is documented nowhere of Christ reigning 1,000 years on the earth? Now, if you can't find where Christ is reigning 1,000 years on the earth, then this is false. It is all false. The book of Revelation is false. It's lies. It's fake. The New Testament is fake. Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. Deceit. Fiction. A religious fairy tale for adults to deceive the nations, and to deceive the Israelites, first and foremost. That's exactly what this is. This is the proof of the truth. The truth is in the pudding. Go ahead and choke on it if you don't want to accept it. This is just what's shoved down your throat, man. You know what I'm saying? You're still going to be in falsehood, believing the New Testament. That's why you're going to be destroyed with no remorse, because you chose ignorance. Now, let's move on. We stressed that very well. Really can't stress it enough. So we're going to go and just continue to prove that the New Testament is falsehood, right? Really wanted y'all to see that for the sincere, for the honest, right? Right. Now here, we're going to see in Acts chapter 18, JC protects Paul and allow his servants, the Greeks, to beat a Jew that is a chief ruler of a synagogue. All right. Acts 18, verse 9. Then spake, man, I do not like reading the New Testament, right? Because it's full of blasphemy and idolatry, calling JC Lord. Look, having you read this, it's just sickening. When you read this, you're reading that JC is Lord. And we know that Yahweh is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Yahweh is a king. So how can JC be King of Kings when Yahweh is a king? If JC is King of Kings, then that means he's the King of Yahweh, because Yahweh is a king. And if JC is Lord of Lords, then that means he's the Lord of Yahweh, because Yahweh is a Lord. You can't have these titles that the New Testament is given to JC, right? But bear with me. Let's get through this. Then spake JC to Paul in the night by a vision, be not afraid, but speak, and hold not thy peace. Okay. Verse 10. For I am with thee, and no man shall set on thee to hurt thee. For I have much people in this city. Okay, so he's saying that, yo, Paul, do not fear. You will not be hurt. I will protect you with the people that I got in this city. That's why you will not be hurt, because I have much people in this city. So don't worry about being hurt. Now we're going to see a Jew, a chief ruler of a synagogue, is going to try to cause Paul to be hurt. And we're going to see what happens to this Jew, this chief ruler, and who are the people that JC has to protect Paul and what they do to this Jew that's a chief ruler. And he continued there a year and 6 months, teaching the word of God among them. And when Gallio was the deputy of Achaia, the Jews made insurrection with one accord against Paul and brought him to the judgment seat, saying, "This fellow persuadeth men to worship God contrary to the law." Okay, so the New Testament knows that this is what they're advertising. This is what they are promoting, to worship God contrary to the law. So they got to control the narrative and paint the narrative as, yeah, everyone is catching on, especially the Jews. They're catching on to that is what they're doing, right? Persuading people to worship God contrary to the law. But they have to paint the narrative and make it seem like the Jews are wrong and they are in the way of the divine plan with God changing and creating something new. Okay? Because it's real obvious to see when you read it. You're going to read it and you're going to be like, hey, these people are changing the law and they're trying to worship God in another way through JC, right? So they got to, paint the narrative and make it seem like, oh, those that get in the way are wicked. They're against the divine plan of God to create this new way of worship. And these people are devils, antichrist, Pharisees, and they're condemned to hell. So then you'd be like, whoa, let me stay out of the way of these Christians. Whoa, let me not try to get in the way of this New Testament, right? So verse 14, and when Paul was now about to open his mouth, Gallio said unto the Jews, if it were a matter of wrong or wicked lewdness, O ye Jews, reason with that I should bear with you, right? So here is the Jews, right? Bringing Paul to a judge, Gallio of Achaia, and they're saying, yo, Paul is persuading men to worship God contrary to the law. So he's breaking Torah. We need you to do something about it. We don't have the authority to put him to death in this city. We need him to be punished. Right? Now, Paul is about to try to defend himself. It says, and when Paul was now about to open his mouth, Gallio said unto the Jews. So before he can even speak, Gallio, this judge, said to the Jews that's accusing Paul, if it were a matter of wrong or wicked lewdness, O ye Jews, reason with that I should bear with you. But if it be a question of words and names and of your law, look ye to it, for I will be no judge of such matters. So he blew it off. He said, you deal with it. But they can't deal with it because they don't have the right to kill in this city. And he drave them from the judgment seat. Right? So he threw them out of court. Then all the Greeks took Sosthenes, the chief ruler of the synagogue, and beat him before the judgment seat. And Gamaliel cared for none of those things. Right? So these are the people that JC has to protect Paul. Greeks. These are JC's people. Greeks. That's jumping and beating on a chief ruler of the Jews. That's a teacher in the synagogue. A synagogue is a place of worship where the Jews worship Yahweh only, and they practice Torah and teach Torah. None of that New Testament stuff, none of that JC stuff. They don't believe in JC. This is why they are bringing Paul to the judgment seat. But now we see that these Greeks, JC's people, took Sosthenes, the chief ruler of the synagogue, and beat him before the judgment seat. And Gamaliel cared for none of those things. So he just said if it was a matter of, something wicked, then, he would judge the matter. And jumping this chief ruler of the synagogue is something wicked, but because he was a Jew and they are Greeks, he discriminated and he turned his back and he perverted justice for the Greeks, right? So Paul is with the Greeks because this is a work of the Greeks. This was originally written in Greek, right? And they are defending Paul, right? So if they were really teaching people to serve the Most High God, why would they beat a Jew that's serving the Most High God? If JC came to bring people back to the Most High God, this Jew is already serving the Most High God. He's a chief ruler in the synagogue, teaching other people to serve the Most High God. Why would they beat him? Because JC did not come. He was not created. He did not come at all, but he was not created to bring people back to the Most High God. He was created by the Edomite Romans to bring God's people to their fictional character, JC. All praises be to the Most High God. These are supreme teachings. This is the best teachings on earth. Edify you, free your soul, heal your soul. This is healing right here, man. To be in idolatry is sickness, but the returning to Yahweh is the process of healing. Yes, right now. So that's messed up, man. Right? But those JC people, the Greeks, those was the people he was saying that he had no cities, so that Paul would not be hurt. Right? The crooked judge, that just allowed a man to be jumped right in front of him and didn't do nothing. He didn't care about it. And the Greeks that jumped that Jew. That was just a godly person serving Yahweh only. And this is the spirit that's against us. This is the spirit that we're up against now. Right? These Christian lights are under this spirit, man. They hate us, man. I have even been called a Yahweh only demon by some GMS members. And man, yeah, I got it recorded. Right? I got it recorded, man. So check out the video lessons. Go check out the playlist. I believe the playlist is called JC is a Roman Creation. Right? I believe the video is GMS, the idolatrous camp. I got so many video lessons. All right, now, Romans 4, verse 12. And the father of circumcision to them who are not of the circumcision only, but who also walk in the steps of that faith of our father Abraham, which he had being yet uncircumcised. Okay. For the promise that he should be the heir of the world, Abraham, right, was not to Abraham or to his seed through the law, but through the righteousness of faith. So he's teaching against the law. He's belittling the law. He's demoting the law. He's kicking down the law. Right? And he's promoting and uplifting this new way of the law of liberty. Right? Just free from the law. Right? So he says, for the promise that he should be the heir of the world was not to Abraham or to his seed through the law, but through the righteousness of faith. But he's lying, because the promise was through the law. Because we read about Abraham in Genesis, and Genesis is the law. Right? The first 5 books of Moses: Genesis, Exodus, Numbers, Leviticus, Deuteronomy. That's the law. So that's a cut. I mean, just knowing the Hebrew Bible, you can really cut this. Just being honest, It says, for if they which are of the law be heirs, faith is made void, and the promise made of none effect. So who are those that are of the law? Who was the law given to? The Israelites. So he's saying that they are not the heirs. Well, there you go. Honest. An honest cut. An honest deliverance of these Greek texts. Right? This Greek literature, man. We're just being honest with it, and that's what it says, man. So, for if they which are of the law be heirs, faith is made void, and the promise of none effect. So, saying that the Israelites are not heirs, because they are those that are of the law. Right? Now, Let's go right up here in the same chapter to verse 4. Yeah. And we got more video lessons coming up. We took a poll and the people voted for the second earth knowledge. So we're going to bring out some more second earth knowledge, but we also got a playlist for that too. Check out that. And that video will be coming up next. All right. And it's coming up fast. So stay tuned, get involved, pay your tithes, and Yahweh bless. All right. So Romans 4, verse 4. Now to him that worketh is the reward not reckoned of grace, but of debt. So when you read about works is keeping the law, keeping the commandments, doing them. Like you have to work. You're working. Like to do the commandments is work. It's something that you do. Right? Now he's saying, now to him that worketh is the reward not reckoned of grace. So you don't get grace if you keep the commandments and, you do the works of the law. You don't get grace. That's not reckoned to you. But debt, you're in debt. Right? And that doesn't make any sense. Why Yahweh wouldn't give grace to someone who is trying to keep his laws? You see, this is deceit. But to him that worketh not, but believeth on him that justifieth the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness. And we know in the law, the Most High God says he will not acquit the wicked. Okay, so that's a contradiction. And that proves that this is a lie. Right? But it says, but to him that worketh not, like, come on. Him that do not keep the law, but believe only. Believe on him that justifieth the ungodly. So that him must be JC, because that him cannot be Yahweh, because Yahweh says in the law, he will not acquit the wicked, the ungodly. Okay? His faith is counted for righteousness. So they are promoting you to not keep the law. They are promoting to not keep the law. They are teaching to not keep the law. Right? And that's exactly what they're doing. And we can go to Romans 11 and 6. It confirms it. Romans 11 and 6. And if by grace, then it no more of works. And if by grace, then is it no more of works. Otherwise, grace is no more grace. But if it be of works, then is it no more grace. Otherwise, work is no more work. Right? So he's saying that you're saved by grace and is not of works, because works is not grace. Grace is this free gift. Your salvation just comes free. And that just depletes the whole purpose of life. Right? Life has to have a purpose. right? Yahweh is testing you. And we read that throughout the Hebrew Bible, throughout the so-called Old Testament, that Yahweh is testing you. He's proving you. He's trying you. Because that's what this life is about. But how is he going to test you if he just gives you free grace, a free pass? Right? Then what are you doing here? This is just basically, you're just here to do your own thing. Right? And you just got to believe. Right? Believe. Like, and then whatever you believe is true. Let's get that too. Let's get that. Whatever you believe is true. You just got to believe that it's true. Right? Let's go to Romans 14 and 22. Hast thou faith? Have it to thyself before God. Happy is he that condemneth not himself in that thing which he alloweth. Now you make your own rule, whatever you allow. Don't condemn yourself. You know what I mean? You happy. You're happy breaking the law because, you got this free gift of grace. And he that doubteth is condemned if he eat, because he eateth not of faith. For whatsoever is not of faith is sin. So whatever you want to be the truth is the truth. Just have faith in it. Wow, that's crazy. Right? So we go to Romans. Yeah, this is the blasphemy and this is the ridiculousness that you read about in the New Testament. We go to Romans 10 and 3. This is the foolishness you read about. And it's just plainly said. Nothing has to be break down. There's nothing hard to understand. Paul says that he used great plainness of speech. All right. For they being ignorant of God's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of God. For Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believeth. Whatever you believe is true, just have faith in it, right? Hey, you believe it is true, hey. But we know that that's not how truth works. Because people can be deceived. There's a such thing as falsehood, right? Such thing as lies. That's not the truth. But as long as you believe the lie to be true, hey, Paul is saying, just have faith in the lie and it's true. Whatever you have faith in, just have faith in it. It's true. That's completely stupid. Right? So you see that JC put an end to the law. It's right here, man. For Christ is the end of the law. Hey. Does that sound how it sounds? Because it's written how it's written, and I'm reading it how it's written. For Christ is the end of the law for righteousness. Wow. Saying something that is wicked is righteous. This stuff is truly evil. These writings are wicked as hell, man. Right? You are reading the satanic Bible right here, man. You are reading the Luciferian Bible right here, man. This is the New Testament, man. You're going to read stuff like that, man. Look what it says right here, man. For they being ignorant of God's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of God. But that's completely against the law. And that's completely against what Yahweh tells us. When we go to Deuteronomy 6:25, it says, and it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments. It's a work-based salvation. So we have to do something to be righteous. Yeah, it is of ourselves. And you cannot believe that. And your ass can be destroyed. Go on and take on that heathen belief. And, go ahead and be lazy in your salvation and in your service to God all you want to. And watch your ass be destroyed when judgment comes. Now, I'm telling you what the law says. And I'm putting it up on the screen so you can read along with me. And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before Yahweh our God, as he has commanded us. Now, if you want to go and believe this, for they being ignorant to God's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of God. What? You establishing your righteousness by you doing the work is the righteousness of God, because it's the work that God laid out for you to do. For Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believeth. This is sickening, man. Right? Now let's go to Romans 14:10. Romans 14:10. And we're going to see how they twist things. You're going to see how Paul gives Yahweh's words to JC. He tries to make it seem like when Yahweh is speaking in the book of Isaiah, that it's actually JC speaking, and it actually refers to JC, and he's taking and robbing the Most High God of his glory and giving it to JC, right? It says, Romans 14:10, but why doest thou judge thy brother? Or why dost thou set at naught thy brother? For we shall all stand before the judgment seat of Christ. Whoa. For it is written, as I live, says JC. Because JC is Lord, right? He's their Lord, and you're going to sit at the judgment seat of Christ. Every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to God. So then, every one of us shall give an account to himself, to God. Right? It says it right here at 10. You're going to stand before the judgment seat of Christ. For it is written, as I live, says the Lord. Every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to God. So then, every one of us shall give an account of himself to God. So he's saying that JC is God if you are standing at the judgment seat of Christ. Right? And where do he take that from? Let's go to Isaiah 45 and 23. This is where he twists it. Isaiah 45 and 23. I have sworn by myself. So there's no judgment seat of Christ. Yahweh is by himself. I have sworn by myself. The word is gone out of my mouth in righteousness, and shall not return, that unto me every knee shall bow, every tongue shall swear. Right. He's the judge. The Most High God is the judge. You see how they twist that? And they do that again. Let's see how they twist scripture. This is how they twist scriptures so that you will not be saved. And they twist scriptures to place us into idolatry. Praise Yahweh that he gave us eyes to see this deception that they're pulling. Romans 10:5. For Moses describeth the righteousness which is of the law, that the man which does those things shall live by them. But the righteousness which is of faith speaketh on this wise, say not in thy heart, who shall ascend into heaven, that is, to bring Christ down from above, or who shall descend into the deep, that is, to bring up Christ again from the dead. Foolish writings. But what saith it? The word is nigh. The word is nigh thee, even in thy mouth and in thy heart. That is the word of faith which we preach. He's put a twist on what Moses said. That if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord JC, and shall believe in thy heart that God has raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. Whoa. So he completely put a twist on Deuteronomy 30. And he broke it down to where you would not be saved, because he made it to be like it's all about JC. So he broke it down so that one will believe that it's all about JC. But it's not. I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 10 where he's, because if you look at the footnotes, this is what they're saying that he's talking about. Deuteronomy 30 verse 10. And this is what he's twisting and telling you that if you believe in your heart that JC is Lord, you will be saved. But this is saying the complete opposite, because he do not want you to be saved, because Deuteronomy is like telling you. Deuteronomy 30 is telling you what you need to do to be saved. If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh your God, to keep his commandments, works, right? Keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law. And if thou turn unto Yahweh your God with all thine heart and with all thy soul. So it's just said to believe in JC with all of your heart and with all of your soul. No, this says, keep the commandments and turn to Yahweh with all of your heart and all of your soul, right? And if thou turn unto Yahweh thy God, return or burn. And if thou return unto Yahweh thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul, for this commandment which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. So the commandment, right? For this commandment which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven, that thou shouldest say, who shall go up for us to heaven and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. You see what he was talking about, JC, ascending, and you bringing them down from heaven, and and in the deep, you're bringing them up from the grave. Just putting a twist on this right here. Neither is it beyond the sea, that thou shouldest say, who shall go over the sea for us and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou mayest do it. Right? Because the commandments is the voice of Yahweh. He spoke the commandments and they wrote the commandments. See, I have set before thee this day life and good and death and evil. And that I command thee this day to love Yahweh your God, to walk in his ways. We know that. We know his ways, right? What's his ways? And to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And Yahweh thy God shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. So if someone trying to pull you away and trying to twist this and make it seem like it's all about, serving JC and believing in your heart that JC is Lord, and they are trying to bring you death. Because this is what you should know, that you may live and multiply. Whoever is trying to twist this, they're trying to bring you a curse, because this will bring you a blessing. It says, and Yahweh, your God, shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them. So Paul read this, and now he's knowing how to weaken us, right? How to destroy us. I denounce unto you this day that ye shall surely perish, and that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land whither thou possesseth over Jordan to go possess it. All right. So you put it together and you go and study Romans chapter 10, verse 5 through 9. You can also add in to verse 13 and, compare it to Deuteronomy chapter 30. You can add the whole chapter if you want to. Just compare it and see how Paul is putting a twist on it. And he is bringing you into idolatry so that you can be destroyed, so you can perish. All right? So, that concludes the video lesson. Right? We burnt up the New Testament. Right? Like the video. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel. Sow into the ministry. Donate to the ministry. And keep the law. Be blessed. And we giving all praises to the Most High God. Yahweh God.